All right, time for your your Wisconsin Sports Radio Network forecast here, brought to you by Utke Heating and Cooling. 62 degrees, mostly cloudy skies right now. Low tonight of 51.
Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is time again, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at Rally House, Brookfield Square. This is where you're going to want to be. Come get your playoff gear right now out here at Rally House. And again, all kinds of Brewer swag out here, right? October baseball shirts, Brewers built for fall shirts, NLCS shirts and hats are super sweet. Showed you one of those earlier if you were watching on YouTube earlier in the show, what those look like. And when you come out here to Rally House, Brookfield Square Mall in Brookfield, Wisconsin, $250 Rally House gift card, your chance to scan that QR code and be on your way to having a chance to taking care of some holiday shopping maybe. Or maybe you're just selfish and you just buy all the stuff for yourself, Charlie. Maybe you just scan and like, oh, I want $250. I'm getting myself 3 jerseys and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm not buying anybody else anything. I'm going to be all about me.
I mean, I'm the only person that I can think of in my life that I would give gifts that are sports related. So yeah, I think I'd use $250.
So your girl wouldn't even use a $250 gift card if you went out here at Rally House right now? She wouldn't even use it to buy herself a cute Brewer shirt or a little Packer jersey to wear around the house or whatever?
Jersey. She would not buy a Packer jersey. She's a Chicago girl, so she only wears Bear stuff. Brewers even is a little far for her. She's a very big Cubs fan. Her family is at least, so.
So for those of you that don't know, I call him Chicago Charlie, not because he's from Chicago. He's not, but he was brainwashed by his father at a young age because his father grew up in Wrigleyville. He has lived in Brookfield, Wisconsin his whole life, played high school football at Brookfield Central, played college football as well, and is a Bulls fan, a Bears fan, a Cubs fan, all that stuff. Now, he will also tell you that he also roots for the Brewers and he also roots for the Bucks because he grew up going to both of those teams. So there's not that big hate. The only hate really with him comes with I am not going to root for the Green Bay Packers necessarily. I'm going to root for the Bears. But in his defense, he is very good at analyzing and talking about the Green Bay Packers on a day-to-day deal, and he's able to separate for this radio show, and I appreciate it very much. All right, coming up this hour, Marcus Hanel, former Brewers bullpen catcher, will join us coming up at 3:20, talk more about what Pat Murphy had to say about that job, that role in an organization. Plus, we'll get his thoughts on this Brewers series, so that's at 3:20. Charlie, Sounds of the Day, brought to you by Prize Picks. That comes up at 3:40. Those are like the top 3 clips that Charlie has from around the world of sports. Could be a presser, could be a podcast, could be from a TV show earlier today or any other day in the past. Whatever it could be, any sport.
You kind of nailed it.
Really? Okay. So there you go. So it's stuff that we're not going to talk probably about anywhere else on the show. And that's when he goes and then I react. And 9 out of 10 times I have no idea what's coming and you get the natural reaction from me. So that is always a fun segment at 3:40 every day. All right. I want to know this. Do you view tonight as a must-win for this Milwaukee Brewers team? It's game 2 of a 7-game series. Is this a must-win in your mind for the Milwaukee Brewers? If you are not aware, tonight is game 2. So we'll have the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook at Camp Bar from 5 to 7 in Milwaukee's 3rd Ward. Brought to you by Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Our thanks to them for helping us be on the road for the leadoff shows. But after tonight, you have a day off Wednesday. Then you are in LA for games Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then you are off Sunday if the Brewers make it that far. And then games 6 and 7 are back in Milwaukee next Monday and Tuesday. I absolutely hate the schedule. How are you the 1 seed and you get stuck with Monday and Tuesday baseball games is absolutely beyond me how you don't get a single weekend game. Like, as an owner of a professional baseball team, I would have a huge problem with how this schedule is. I'm the best overall team, and I get the worst days of the week to try and put butts in seats. Now, again, thankfully, it's Milwaukee. It doesn't matter what day of the week, what time of the day it is. People will take off work to go watch a Brewers playoff game. So I'm not saying it's not going to work. But from the aspect of, I don't know, maybe I'm nuts, right? But if you work on Tuesday and it's Monday, how much are you really going to get after it during the game, right? But if it's Friday and you don't work on Saturday, how much are you going to get after it, Charlie? And how much louder and more raucous may things be at American Family Field if you get all day to pregame and all afternoon to pregame before a night game versus being at work until like 4 o'clock, 4:30, and then having a couple burgers and something to drink, maybe have a beer or two, and then you head over to the game. Much different atmosphere in my mind at American Family Field, weekend versus weekday.
It's definitely going to be a little more chaotic if you are on the weekend.
Yes.
You get people, like you said, just more fired up. I think it doesn't matter at the same time. This Milwaukee Brewers team has dealt with this for their entire existence, it feels like, where they get pushed aside for bigger teams or bigger markets. I mean, on the other side of things, I think in the ALCS, you have an entire country behind Toronto. And I think that pushes things a little bit to wanting to put them more in primetime games. Milwaukee will always get that back seat, but it seems like the Brewers, for the most part, don't care that much about that. It might help them a little bit that it's not as crazy, that it's not as raucous sometimes, and that you don't have as many eyes on you maybe as you would if you were playing on a Friday or Saturday night.
You know, and that is something that obviously is out of the Brewers' control. They can't do anything about it. But just a note, I'm not sure how many other people are talking about it, but it was definitely kind of a screw job here by Major League Baseball for the 1 seed in the NL. Now, this could have went the other way. LA could have been stuck in this scenario if they were the 1 seed. It's not specifically against Milwaukee. This is prearranged and preset ahead of time of how this whole thing is going to play out. Is tonight a must-win game for the Brewers in your mind for them to win this series? Nicolay Law, talk a text line, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Steve Sparky, Fifer with you. I'll start. Absolutely. If they're down 0-2, folks, I'm just telling you, I don't know how you win this series. I don't. And in fact, I was texting with my cousin. I'll bring it back up again. I was texting with my cousin last night, and he was furious that the Brewers couldn't win that game in the 9th inning. And you're probably going, he's a big Brewers fan. No, not really. He lives in San Francisco his whole life and is a big San Francisco Giants fan. They hate the Dodgers, in case you're just tuning in. And I said, he said, got to get them tomorrow. And I said, they lose tomorrow, it's probably over. And he said, most likely, but the Giants were down 0-2 at home against the Reds in the division series in 12 and won 3 straight in Cincinnati. So stuff does happen every once in a while. Sure, stuff does happen every once in a while. But if we're being any type of realistic here, they have to get game 2 tonight for a multitude of reasons. Number one, it's the only game you're going to have a real starting pitching probably going any type of distance in Freddie Peralta tonight. You have to take advantage of him being on the mound, and hopefully Peralta gives you 5 or 6. I'm not going to ask for 7 because that's just not being realistic. But if he can at least get you through 5 to maybe 6 innings out of Peralta, now all of a sudden you're in a much better position at that point to go, okay, now I can go to Koenig, I can go to Uribe, I can go to McGill to go 7, 8, 9, and now you're in a great spot to win this baseball game. Then on the other side, from a hitting perspective, you can't let anybody dominate you like Snell did. That just cannot be. You've got to get through this game quicker and get runs on the board early. The fact that it was 0-0 after 3, I was thinking to myself, this is good for the Brewers. And then you make that crazy double play that nobody had any idea what was going on. It really goes over the wall, tips the ball up, catches the ball. Everybody's like, oh, okay, he's out. Nope, he wasn't out. That doesn't even count as an out. Then you throw it home. Contreras gets the force out. I'm convinced, and I don't know this, I'm convinced that home plate umpire told Contreras that, hey, this is going to be a force out here. And that's why Contreras put his foot on home plate to catch it. And when he said out, then Contreras was like, oh, then looked at third, runners were running, and he went over there. I'm convinced that home plate umpire tipped off Contreras as far as to what that out was going to be and how this thing was going to play. Because otherwise, if he was like me and everybody else watching, he would have went to tag that guy coming home. He didn't, so he knew that was a force out. That's the only reason you received that ball the way he did. He never even attempted to tag that guy. I'm telling you, I think that umpire tipped off William Contreras, to which I say somebody sent him some flowers and chocolates, because that was awfully nice of him to help the Brewers get out of that inning.
Well, and it might not have even been on purpose. It might have been the ump just talking through it himself right behind William Contreras, trying to figure out what's happening so that he can get through the replay a little bit easier if he knows what's happening. And Williams just kind of overhearing it and saying, oh, well, yeah, he's right. That hit Sal's glove first. It hit the inside of the wall. That's a live ball now. I mean, yeah, I'll put my foot on home because the umpire behind me is trying to talk it out himself, too. I mean, It could be that easy. It might not have been on purpose.
When that happened, I'm sitting there and I'm going, Euchre Magic, here we go. Here we go. I mean, right off game one, we got some Euchre Magic working for us. And then they get another big double play later to get out of it. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this may actually just happen. This may. And then as they're putting guys on bases, and in the ninth, I'm thinking, wow, this is going to go down. And how cool would it have been had it been Terang winning that game? Because if you go back prior, Terang gets that big hit. Contreras is on deck, picks up his bat, and slams it into the ground in celebration mode when Terang gets that big home run, right? Now it's reversed. Now Terang is up, and Contreras is on deck, and it would have been the exact reverse. Actually, no, it was the other way. Contreras was on base, Terang was up, and now here we go with an opportunity to have him have another big moment. To me, it would have been absolutely unbelievable had they were able to get that victory. The whole idea, again, of getting out of the way of a pitch and all that is nonsense. But do you think it's a must-win game tonight? That's the question. Nicolay Law, talking text line 414-677-1250. I do. I think it is. 414 text in. Most definitely a must-win for the Brew Crew tonight from the 414. What say you, Charlie?
I think so. I think this is very easily a must-win game for the Milwaukee Brewers. When looking at this series from their perspective, I think we kind of went into this yesterday, and Trell brought it up with this mindset that they got past that hurdle. Now it's just about moving forward because this is a young team. It's about having fun this playoffs moving forward. Kind of here, you're going with the Mark A mentality. I know Q's going to hate that because he hates Mark A, but at the same time, this is something that I think the Milwaukee Brewers still want. It's still something that means something to them. Bob Uecker passing away is something that's huge for this team. And like we keep saying, the Uecker magic that you keep seeing in moments for this Milwaukee Brewers squad is huge. And to go out of the series, go down 2-0, and then eventually lose that series, because going down 2-0 is kind of a death sentence to the Los Angeles Dodgers at this point, a team that is, again, like we keep saying, built for the playoffs. This is not something you can let happen if you really do want to do it for this city, for the fan base, for Bob Uecker. These are things that you have to start fighting for, and it has to start at home. You can't start away.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the other part about this too, with that Brewer fans last night, can I just give a quick tip, please? So I'm hearing "Go Brewers, go" chants, and they're trying to get into it. When you're watching it on TV, right, and you're not there, it sounds like it's coming from the outfield, upper decks, everywhere, right? If you're watching on YouTube right now, if you were behind home plate, this is what y'all look like. Just like you were in church or in a library. That's it. Nothing. There was nothing happening. Most of the game, everybody behind home plate just sat down. Guys, girls, listen. They can hear you more than they can hear everybody else. You are literally shouting distance to that batter when that batter is up. They can hear you more than anybody else. You can say, hey, man, you're 0 for 6 in this situation. Whatever you want to say, boo, yell, whatever, scream. But everybody behind home plate, by the batter circle, I understand. Y'all probably make a lot of money, and you spent your hard-earned money, and you don't want to, be up and cheer and everything else. You had a long day of work. I get it. I understand. But damn, it is the NLCS, people. Please get up and get loud, not just in the ninth inning, but throughout other big moments in the game. I hate to do this, but that crowd at Wrigley was on fire. Like, that was probably one of the best baseball crowds I've ever heard in my life for a continuous 9 innings. Both those games. It was insane. That is the type of energy you have to have. I get it. The Brewers weren't getting hits. I get it. But still, when everybody else is chanting and yelling and screaming on TV, I see people just standing there with their hands folded, not saying a word, just looking straight ahead. Again, my only way to say this, it looks like you were in a church pew, waiting for the priest to say their mass. That's what it looked like to me, Charlie.
Yeah, it really just kind of felt flat for a lot of that game. And I know the team, like you mentioned before, also felt a little bit flat during the game at points. And I know the fan base wants to feed off the team, but the team also feeds off that fan base too. It's this mutual relationship where they have to be helping each other out. And the fans, if you're going to spend that much money to sit front row, sit right behind home plate, because it's a lot of money to sit behind home plate. Just sitting in the second deck is at least $200. Go out there and make it an experience for yourself. Make it an experience for the team. And maybe they'll go out there and start hitting home runs more. Maybe the other team will get flustered and make more mistakes. You have to be the deciding factor in a lot of these. We talked about home field advantage in that last series, like you mentioned with the Cubs. It mattered so much to the 3 games that the Milwaukee Brewers won. You have to help them here too.
That's exactly right. Okay, so must win tonight. I say it is a must win tonight. You agreeing with me on this, correct?
I am agreeing with you on this. It's a must win.
Yeah, I just, at this point, I think it is. 262 using the Nicolay Law talk and text line. It says, not a must-win statistically, but would say it's a need-to-win game. Freddie has got to get us there today. And when you say Freddie has got to get us there today, that means Freddie has got to get us through 6. That's where I'm at. At least 6. If Freddie gets us through 6, I'm happy. Adam in the Dugout YouTube chat said Bobby Portis was on his phone the whole time. Oh, I don't know. Did you see Bobby Portis on his phone the whole time?
I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't even notice Bobby Portis was there, if I'm being honest.
Well, so, I mean, again, is it fair to make exceptions to rules, right? I don't expect, if we're being honest, I don't expect professional sports players to be a fan at all when they're at games. I literally have no hope that that's going to happen. Isn't it Anthony Davis, who's a big Packers fan, right? And he's been to Lambeau and all that. I have no hope that he's going to yell and scream like somebody in the stands when he's at a game. I don't. It's just like the Bucks team, outside of Giannis, didn't see him in that team picture. When they went to the game the other night, I don't expect them to cheer like we cheer at a game because I think it's weird for them. I just do. I think it's weird. They're used to people cheering for them. And then you're asking them, most of whom aren't Packer fans or who aren't Brewers or Bucks fans. They grew up fans of other teams. Now they're going to support the local team and then asking them to cheer on and do all of that. I think that's tough. Miles Turner, God bless him. He's wearing Brewers swag right off the jump and saying, hey, I'm in. Let's go. Meanwhile, you have Tyrese Halliburton at the Pacers game last night. He's not playing, and they're in Indiana, and he's wearing a Dodgers jersey, Dodgers cap on backwards, whole deal.
Or Cubs jersey last week,
yeah, poking and prodding at Milwaukee and the Brewers fans and disassociating himself. And he's a troll. I mean, that's who he is, and that's what it is. And you know what? I'll say this. God bless him. Because I like the idea that you're going to play up to the fact of, you know what, screw you, screw all of you in the state, screw all of you in the city. I don't care about any of you, and I'm going to play the bad guy. I'm down with that because there's not a lot of athletes that are willing to play that role, Charlie, and poke at the other fan base constantly. And they're welcoming everybody to boo them and hate them forever. Not many athletes wrap their arms around it and say, you know what, I'm cool with this. Let's roll with this. I'm down with this the rest of my career. Let's go. Not many guys are willing to do what Halliburton's doing right now.
I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's led to this mentality for his team that has made them a championship contender. So, I mean, why not? Why not go out there and embrace that type of role? Because it's working for him.
Yes, absolutely. I got a text here from Sean Downtown. It says, Sean Downtown here. Yeah, it was more about Snell, talking about our last topic. He was dealing his changeup, was nasty. He was landing it all off speed pitches. Contreras and Churiel made 0 adjustments at the plate. He had Christian Yelich in a blender, so you got to tip your hat to Snell, as he's one of the best in the game, like Yelich said, and he was spot on last night. So hopefully tonight they make adjustments to that splitter and jump on the fastball. He said we were sitting in section 202, so I had a great look in, and every pitch Snell was throwing was so nasty last night. That's from Sean Downtown. Again, he's a great pitcher. You knew going in it was going to be tough, so we'll see if they rebound coming up tonight for certain. Let me tell you about my friends over there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Want to hit up the Potawatomi Sportsbook before a postseason game, but need a ride to the game? Hit 2 balls with 1 bat by hitching a ride on a Potawatomi game day shuttle. Make any purchase in the sportsbook or same-day sports bet to get a wristband and seat on the shuttle. Shuttles begin approximately 2 hours before first pitch. Return shuttles run nonstop for 1 hour after the game. For more, visit Potawatomi.com. Bet above the rest. To take a quick time out, come back on the other side. We'll talk with Marcus Hanel, longtime Brewers bullpen catcher, and get his thoughts on what our guy Pat Murphy had to say yesterday about that position in the organization. That's coming up on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here at Rally House at Brookfield Square Mall. Come get all of your postseason T-shirts and hats and all of that before the game tonight. So you're going to the stadium in style. They got the T-shirts, the hats, all that fun stuff, and your chance to register to win a $250 Rally House gift card going on until 5 o'clock out here at Rally House, Brookfield Square in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Sparky here, Charlie Usen producing today's show as always. We will continue on with our Brewers conversation. Joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law, he is former Brewers bullpen catcher Marcus Hanel. Marcus, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, man. What a great time of year to be on here.
Yeah, it is. And again, playoff baseball, they get through and win a series for the first time since 2018 to the Brewers. So that is obviously a great thing. Pat Murphy yesterday went on and on about the bullpen catcher and really the role of the bullpen catcher and how it's changed over the course of time and so forth. So I hear bullpen catcher, I know you. So I was like, oh boy, I got to get Marcus Hanel on and talk about being a bullpen catcher and what that is, what that was all about back in the day when you were the catcher. So for those listening around the state, get everybody up to date. When were you the bullpen catcher for the Brewers, and talk about, what that was like?
Yeah, I was a bullpen catcher from 2000 until 2020 through those years. So at first, it was just kind of like, hey, you kind of hear the role bullpen catcher, warm up pitchers, but it actually became, and it is a lot more than that. Obviously, on top of that, if you're able to throw batting practice, you're throwing batting practice to your lineup. You're also obviously you're warming up and with the starting pitchers doing their routines throughout the course of the week, catching their bullpens, and then catching flat grounds from the relievers. And as it progressed and there's a lot more scouting reports, you were integrated into the scouting part of it. And so being there to be a voice and to be an ear to the pitchers who have questions on like, what do these hitters want? What adjustments do we got to make? So yeah, a lot more involved with it than just catching some pitches from the starting pitchers or relievers. And it's grown into actually another coach.
So it's interesting because, a couple of the guys they have, one of the guys they have is Correa, who was a catcher for the Milwaukee Milkmen just a couple of years ago when they won their championship in Franklin, Wisconsin, which was pretty cool. And now he's one of their bullpen catchers. They have two guys out there. And like Murphy said, it's grown over the course of time. So when you sit there and, okay, so you get the bullpen call, right, get whoever up in the bullpen. At that point, then, is it that you and that pitcher then are starting to talk about possibilities of who may be coming up? Are you having those conversations throughout the game amongst yourselves as different guys are coming up as far as what they like, what they don't like? Talk about that process.
Yeah, it's already like they'll have their iPads already in the bullpen. So guys are like constantly looking at footage and film of those hitters. What's going to happen if there's a runner in scoring position? Is that hitter who's up going to be a first pitch swinger? Is he going to be a little more patient? Where's a safe zone to throw a pitch at? All these like little nuances of the game where guys are just preparing themselves already. So they've already done that work before they actually get the call. And we're constantly like, say, hey, in this situation, you're probably gonna be used here. Like I'm sure Charlie Green right now is like, all right, hey, we're in the fifth inning here. We got this situation come up. We're probably gonna be using you in this situation. And guys kind of start getting the routine. They start doing their thing. And so the whole preparation is already starting before their name's called. So a lot of looking at information, a lot of scouting reports are out there, and guys are just devouring it.
Now, obviously, I've covered this team since 2005 and had some conversations with guys. And I will tell you what I heard from guys, and maybe different from the truth or otherwise. But over the years, I've heard from different guys, yeah, there is no role designation necessarily out there. Nobody really knows when they're being used in different situations. And a lot of guys saying, when you know your role is coming and you know where you're going to pitch in a certain part of the game, it's easier to get yourself mentally ready for that situation. And once you get through that part of the game, you're like, okay, in this situation, I'm probably not going to be used. And then you can kind of relax it back a little bit unless it were to get to extra innings. Did you have that year to year as far as guys always knowing their roles? Was it different based on different managers or different pitching coaches, maybe wanting to keep guys on edge all the time and be ready versus, cementing the roles in the bullpen?
I think over time, over the course of a season, you kind of do develop your roles. And guys, you fall into that routine. They know who they are. They got everyone, who the guys, the long men are. You guys know who the guys are going to be thrown in the games we might be trailing. You know how your high leverage guys are going to be at the end of the game. The only difference probably over the course of those years is when Hader was around, right? Like if there was a huge situation in that 7th inning and we needed those 3 outs in that 7th inning, Hader was our guy. So Hader was kind of probably he was probably the one guy whose role was different than anyone else's, because I mean, you look at Uribe was your 8th inning guy. You got your 9th game. Gosh, I'm going blank.
Miguel, yep.
Until he hurt his arm, right? I mean, you know who your Koenig was going to be your 7th inning guy, or your like Mears. Those guys were setting those guys up. You just fall into these roles and the routine of it. You can see the guys by inning how they start warming up by doing medicine ball. They're using their heavy balls. They're doing their armbands. They're doing all those kind of things because they know when they're about ready to go in. They also don't want to peak too soon, right? So these guys are just kind of knowing when they need to get ready, and they use that as their launching board just to take off.
Former Brewers bullpen catcher Marcus Hanel joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. See Sparky Fifer with you. Let's talk a little bit about where this Brewers team is right now. We were talking about it earlier about, was that just a great pitching performance from Blake Snell last night, or was there something having to do more with what the Brewers were doing and how they were approaching it? Jonathan Lucroy was on Twitter last night talking about the idea that Snell was amazing. This is a really good fastball hitting team for the Brewers, and he did a really good job changing speeds and not throwing a lot of fastballs to a team that thrives on them and keeping them off balance. And then somebody asked him about, well, what do you do? And his point was, which has been brought up by multiple people on the Nicolay Law talk and text line, which is my focus would be hitting it to right field. Everything I would do would be trying to get that ball to right field, swinging as late as possible because it's a 4-seam fastball and it's a 4-seam change. He's talking about trying to read wrist tilt and everything else. I don't think people really understand how hard it is to do what these guys do at the plate, game in and game out. When you were watching this game last night, how did you view it?
Yeah, you're just looking at and you're just tipping your hat. I mean, he was on point with all his pitches. I mean, this is a guy who typically can go high pitch count, go 5 innings. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping like maybe he gets his 9 strikeouts or whatever, but do it in 5 innings, not out through this 8 innings. I mean, that was my whole thing. Get to the bullpen. So there was he was just locked in, and you got to give your credit sometimes. It's a big league pitcher who's getting paid a lot of money to do what he's doing. And so, yeah, it's easy to go up there and say, oh, hit the ball to right field and do this kind of things. But, man, in a moment of NLCS, adrenaline, you're trying to do what you can to make adjustments, but he's making the same adjustments. He just made them a little better. You saw what happened. We got to their bullpen, and things changed right away. We made a dent in their bullpen in the 9th inning. I mean, you got to be thinking, they're like, man, we got this game. We're cruising, and all of a sudden they're on pins and needles with the bases loaded and 2 outs. So there was adjustments made, when the new pitcher came in. You just got to tip your hat to Blake, and he was just phenomenal. And you look at the stat, he's one of what he's done it 5 times. He's struck out 9 guys and given up 2 or less hits. He's done it 5 times, and no one's done it more than 3 times. And we're talking about the best of the best. You look at Skubal from Detroit and the numbers that he's put up, right? He keeps saying, like, well, they got to make an adjustment. He kept putting up zeros all offseason except for Polanco, who seemed to have his number. So it's easier said, but these are the best of the best. So you're going to get outings like this, and you're hoping you get outings if you're a Dodger guy who's paid this money for a Blake Snell, right? You'd be disappointed if you didn't, right?
So at the end of the game, I want to get your thoughts on this on Terang, because fans are all mad. Oh, he should have wore that pitch. He shouldn't have jumped out of the way. And I said earlier, take yourself to a batting cage, jack it up to 70. That's what most of them are, 70. These are rubber balls. They're not baseballs. Stand in there and take it. Tell me how your knee feels. Let's see how it looks tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Now let's jack that up to 90 to 95 with a real damn baseball. And I'll wear it. I mean, there is no guarantee, A, that he wouldn't have got seriously hurt and possibly missed the rest of the NLCS or whatever else the case may be. That's 1. 2, I don't see in that moment him thinking of, oh, I've got to wear it. The natural reaction, obviously, is to get out of the way of it for 2 reasons. 1, you don't want to get hurt. And 2, you want to deliver the hit. You want to deliver the double. You want to hit the granny. You want to do that. That's not what you're thinking of. Now, he gets out of the way and then realized what happened, looks at the dugout like, damn, I should have got hit. But I just think it's unfair to go after Bryce Terang for that, Marcus.
I totally agree with you. It is a reactionary moment right there. You're in there, you already got 2 strikes on you. So your thought process is somehow I got to put bat on ball here. I'm not trying to strike out here. So he's trying to do everything he can. And the way that pitch was designed, right? It's a slider. It wasn't just a fastball coming at him. So it was like that slider with that break. And so it's down and in where you're able to move a little bit. If that's a pitch that's up and in and you kind of roll into it, that's another thing, like with the fast, but it's just a reaction. I mean, no matter what, you can just naturally throw something at anyone for the most part, and everyone tries to get out of the way, right? It's that pitch that's up and in that you can kind of like go like that. I feel bad that he's taking a hit for this because it is just a natural reaction of just getting out of the way. Yeah, and afterwards, you look at the dugout and go, dang it, if I would have got hit. Yeah, you can say that. It just didn't happen, and there's no blame on him for that. Not at all.
Marcus, one last thing for you. Freddie Peralta on the mound tonight. He's maybe the only guy that's going to be a regular starter in this thing. The rest may be openers, and then guys like Quintana and Priester behind him and so forth, and Mizorowski. Is this kind of a must-win game for the Brewers? Because for me, it is. I mean, to be 0-2 going back to LA for 3 straight, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that is a tough look for this Brewers team if they don't get a win tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you. You don't want to say it's a must win statistically. You got your other games to play, but
sure,
going down 2-0, going to LA, it's not favorable. You just want to get into some kind of rhythm going out to LA. You want to feel good about yourself going out there and make them feel like the pressure's on them now to win in LA. So I think this is a game you got to come with. So you got to win. This is a game you need to win leaving here. That's why you have home field advantage. These are the games you're supposed to win, right? That's the home field advantage part of it. So yeah, there's going to be a little more pressure to do so, but I agree with you. I know it's not like you could say the statistics will say, oh, you got 4 more, you got 5 more chances to win your 4 games, but no, this is your time to win.
All right, Marcus Hanel, what's going on with you, man? You still doing baseball lessons and doing all that fun stuff?
Yeah,
or
I'm
Marcus
doing it
Hanel
all.
up now today?
Yeah, I'm still
on?
doing all that. So it's been a blast.
So how do people get a hold of Marcus Hanel? They want to get their kids some lessons.
You can contact Hitters Baseball out there in Caledonia. I would put my number out there, but we'll hold off on that.
Don't.
Yeah, I won't do that. I won't do that.
You don't need to do that.
But yeah, Hitters Baseball, they can you can reach them.
You do catcher camps and stuff in the wintertime too, right? Do you still
I
do
got
those
Saturday
camps?
morning catchers camps and run stuff during the week. During the wintertime, I'm there quite frequently.
Super busy indeed. Marcus, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, pleasure. Thank you.
Take care. There he is, Marcus Hanel, joining us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. Let's talk about our fine folks over there at Wendy's. If you love Wendy's classic chocolate, vanilla, frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions. Same creamy treat you've always loved. Now with a flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Okay, well, we got the Frosty Swirls, strawberry, brownie, batter, and caramel, and the Frosty Fusions, Oreo brownie, caramel crunch, and Pop-Tart strawberry. So clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's all new Frosty flavors. A refresh on a classic. It's got to be Wendy's. Coming up on the other side, Charlie's Sounds of the Day. Top 3 clips that he pulls from the world of sports. Wherever he goes, I have no idea. Could be any sport, could be from any person. That's the fun part about this. It's brought to you by Prize Picks. Straight ahead on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. You want to know how to get that $250 Rally House gift card. That's what you want to know. And you can only get it out here at Rally House at Brookfield Square in Brookfield, Wisconsin, up until 5 o'clock. That's all we're going to be out here with Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. And I'm telling you, when it comes to gear of your favorite Wisconsin sports team, man, they've got it. Like, almost half the store right now is Packers gear, which is obviously a given, as the Packers are religion in this state. I understand that. But how about all the Brewers gear that they got out here as well? Those new NLCS hats are sweet on this table right now. Like, I think that's my favorite hat I've seen from them. Plus, you got the T-shirts, whole deal. You got built for fall T-shirts, October baseball T-shirts, all kinds of postseason gear. But again, come over here to the table, scan the QR code for a chance to win a $250 gift card. We're only here to 5 o'clock, so only the people that scan will have a chance to win the $250 gift card out here at Rally House at Brookfield Square in Brookfield. So you have about an hour and 15 minutes. If you're listening and you're close, probably going to want to stop out here and take advantage of that. Time now to get to Charlie's part of the show.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Indeed, it is that time. And, of course, it's brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of the sports season on Prize Picks. Whether you're a football fan, a basketball fan, or a fan of both like me, it always feels good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code SPARKY to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code SPARKY, SPARKY, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details. And, folks, just let me explain this to you. So if you play daily fantasy, right, more or less, 2 or more player stat projections here on Prize Picks, if your lineups you play are, say, $5, and you can play whatever you like, but let's say they're a $5 lineup. That's what you play every time you play. For $5, that means with the $50 they're going to give you, you're going to get to play 11 lineups on just $5. Why wouldn't you do that? Even if you've never done daily fantasy in your life, you should do it. Maybe you'll get a couple correct. So again, use that code SPARKY, SPARKY, on your Prize Picks app. All right, what do we got over there, Charlie, using for our top clips of the day?
All right, first up, we're going to head over to the Steelers press conference from earlier today.
Oh, no.
Where Mike Tomlin was.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
it's
not Aaron Rodgers. I know that's what you were a little worried about. It's not Aaron Rodgers. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are taking on the Cincinnati Bengals this week, the Packers' opponent last week. And Mike Tomlin was discussing Joe Flacco being traded from the Cleveland Browns to the Cincinnati Bengals.
You know, to be honest, it was shocking to me. Andrew Berry must be a lot smarter than me or us because it doesn't make sense to me to trade a quarterback that you think enough of to make your opening day starter to a division opponent that's hurting in that area. But that's just my personal feeling.
Okay, well, I mean, I understand Mike Tomlin's not used to losing. The Browns are. They know what it looks like to lose, and they're on their way to being the worst team in football again this year. Are there bright spots on that team? Sure. The defense obviously has been a bright spot from time to time, and that's about all. So they have to figure out who their quarterback's going to be. We talked about this in the past. I think Gabriel's going to get 3 games, and then they're going to move to Shadur Sanders, who will get a couple of games, and then they'll figure out at that point who the next starting quarterback's going to be. It serves them no good building for the future to have old guy Joe Flacco under center. It is not about winning in Cleveland right now. It's about seeing if they have to find another quarterback in the draft next year. That's what this is about. And again, Tomlin, hasn't really been in that situation of a full rebuild, over 20 years, like apparently the Browns have been in for 20 years. So he has no experience in that. So I'm going to just let him get off the hook for that comment. What's next?
All right. Next up, we're going to head over to the NBA on ESPN, where one of your favorites, Shams Charania, was discussing the Milwaukee Bucks signing Alex Antetokounmpo to a 2-way contract yesterday afternoon.
George, the Bucks are clearly doing everything they can to make Giannis feel as comfortable as possible and as accommodated as possible. This is clearly a move that they're doing, leaving no stone unturned in that regard by signing Alex. But from Giannis's point of view, I'm told that these moves are isolated from him and his decisions. And my understanding is he will make his ultimate decision on his future, whatever that may be, as he has 1 year left on his contract after this season. And that will be based on the team's play. And to that end, the first quarter of this NBA season is going to be critical to see just how good or where the Bucks stand in the NBA and in the Eastern Conference this season.
I don't believe you. In regards to Shams Charania, as far as, how he's going to make his decision, sure. Yeah, I'm down with that as far as I'm going to string this out as long as humanly possible, get as much attention as humanly possible, have everybody talking about me and yada, yada, yada. Okay, fine. I get the Giannis deal. We've been dealing with this now for a couple of years. He's become kind of like the new Favre. But having said all of that, this is the thing. They're going to do everything in their power, the Bucks, to try and convince him that he needs to stay. So if having both of his brothers on that basketball team could possibly help them in any way, shape, or form, even though Alex is a two-way contract, they're obviously going to do that at the end of the day. Is it going to ensure that Giannis comes back? No. But they're doing everything. They're bending over backwards. They're paying stupid amounts of money into luxury tax, all trying to keep this guy happy who every offseason doesn't want to commit to them, which is simply amazing to me. But that is where we're at. So here is yet another attempt by John Horst, who in my opinion has went above and beyond the call of duty to try and make this guy happy. And here we sit again, him talking about, well, we'll see where we're at in 6 or 7 months. I mean, come on. I'm so done with this Giannis drama. I'm done with all of it. And again, that marriage analogy that he made the other day when he talked about, look, I'm not wearing my wedding ring, right? So, am I going to be able to deal with it if, some hot chick comes up to me or whatever the case may be? Am I going to be able to deal with that temptation? That was the absolute worst analogy. So what he pretty much showed you is, yeah, I'm married to you. I'm married to the Bucks in basketball season. But once we get to the summer, off comes the ring, and I'm open for business, baby. Let's see if anybody can tempt me to leave my wife. That essentially was the analogy he used. Charlie hated it because he knew I was going to lose my mind. But that's what he used. And I'm still mad about it. So all this nonsense, again, anybody that questions Charania, you're wrong. He validated everything. He's down nothing when he had the opportunity to. He has yet to do it at any point. All right, go ahead.
And last up here, we're going to hear from Kyle Kuzma's trainer, Clint Parks, on what Kuzma has been working on this offseason. This is from the Johnsons on Bucks Plus.
3 things I talked about with him all summer: fundamentals, discipline, and accountability. I thought he did a great job. He owned that. Didn't make no excuses. Obviously, he works really hard. He takes very good care of his body. Bring that energy every single game. Be a force defensively. Be somebody that can guard 1 through 4. No easy catches. Keep the ball in front of you. Being great at cutting to the basket. You got to go get those scrappy buckets. You got to go create a rhythm for yourself. Like, you got to punish teams in that way when you're playing with a guy like Giannis, not settling for jumpers.
It's a revelation. That's a role for him that he can exploit. I feel like the mismatch for Kuz, getting it off the glass, pushing it, and then trying to find guys.
Yes, that's what I'm telling Kuz. You're sprinting that floor so hard every time. You're putting pressure on the defense. You're going to put yourself into a better rhythm just by doing that. Going to get you a tip dunk, getting you that energy, getting you that big dunk in transition. You're creating scoring opportunities for the team.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and argue with anybody that says Kyle Kuzma is a key piece to this Bucks team going forward. I think he is a key piece to this Bucks team going forward as far as what he brings that nobody else really brings to this roster at this point. He has everything you could possibly want to be a difference maker with this Bucks team. He has everything you possibly want to be maybe the most improved player in the NBA this season by playing with Giannis and Miles Turner. Everything is there. The question is, will he take advantage of it and do something with it? And if we're asking me if I think that's going to happen, my answer is no. No, I don't think he's going to take advantage of it. He hasn't taken advantage of it at any point in his career to this point when he could have taken advantage of it. And we're still waiting for the great Kyle Kuzma to show the talent that everybody knows he has, but he hasn't been able to put together. If Kyle Kuzma finally shows up with the talent that he actually has, this team could go win a championship. This team could definitely be in the finals. But to think we're resting all of that on Kyle Kuzma, that's where we are right now. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, and we're broadcasting from the studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Up next, Green and Gold Update Time. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur straight ahead here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.